How much weight could you actually strip out of a stock car, and how much faster would it be? We've all heard the rule: for every 100 pounds that you remove from a car, you'll shave 1/10 of a second off your quarter-mile time. So today, I'm gutting this thing to see how much free performance we can unlock. Let's go. I'm going to categorize our weight savings into different classes. So we'll remove and weigh the seats, get a total weight there, the carpet and liners, then the safety equipment, all the interior plastics, and what exterior parts we can remove. After removing all the factory safety equipment from the car, we're going to need to add some safety equipment back in, which will be added weight back to the car, which we'll remove from the total weight taken out of the car. To weigh all our parts, we're going to use a 400-pound scale I got off of Amazon. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let's start by removing the rear seat. For the bottom portion, all you have to do is pry up and it pops right out. Now let's remove the rear door card. There's a couple screws you need to remove, followed by a bunch of clips that secured the door card on. Just give it a good tug and it'll pull right off. Then we'll push up to clear the door sill along with the locking button. Then we'll remove the cable for the handle, followed by the power window harness. Let's go ahead and remove the rear speaker, in which it's held down by a couple screws, and it's also secured down with some weather stripping. Now we'll remove the plastic trim pieces, in which all we have to do is pull and they pop right out. Next we'll remove the passenger side rear airbag, and all you have to do is give it a good pry and it pops right out. Then we have to disconnect the airbag harness. Now let's start removing the rear seat, in which it's secured down by a few bolts. Let's go ahead and pop out the other airbag and disconnect its harness. With the bolts removed from the base of the other portion of the rear seat, we can just pop it right out. As a baseline, I'm going to weigh myself because there's some of these things I just will not be able to fit on this scale that I'll just have to hold. I'll have to subtract my weight from it to find out how much it weighs. So let's see how much your boy weighs. 179.5. Now let's see how much our rear seat weighs. I'm going to do this in portions here. Got the cup holder armrest portion of the rear seat. We're at 210.5, almost 211. The foam bench, we're looking at 11 pounds. Then the last third section here, right at 15 pounds. That's a total of 57 pounds just for the rear seats. Let's continue removing all the rear plastic pieces, in which a lot of them are secured with plastic strips and they just pop right out. Let's remove the back window card along with the third tail light. It's just secured down with a few plastic clips, but in order to get access to that, we have to remove the upper plastics. With a good pry, it just pops right out. After disconnecting the tail light, the card slides right out. Now let's remove the rear seat belts, in which they're secured down with a couple E-Torx bolts. Let's go ahead and remove the other door card, just a couple screws, a few plastic clips, and it pops right up. Let's go ahead and get that speaker as well, and we'll reattach our door handle so we can get in and out of the car. Now let's remove the rear trunk liner, in which it's secured with a few plastic clips. Now let's remove the inner fender liners, in which they're secured down with a few clips. Now let's remove the rear plastic around the trunk latch, and it's just held in with a couple clips and the weather stripping. Then we'll remove the rear trunk liner, in which it should just slide right out, although my setup's a little more complicated. Now let's remove the driver's seat, in which it's secured down with a couple bolts and it slides right out. Let's go ahead and sit in some Cheeto dust and go ahead and start dismantling the center console. And it's held together with a few 7mm bolts, and the rest of the plastics just pop right out. We'll go ahead and remove this harness that connects the USB port. While we're here, we'll start dismantling the dash, and the plastics are held in with some clips along with some 7mm bolts. We'll go ahead and remove our Tesla style radio. Let's go ahead and remove the passenger side seat, in which it's secured down with a couple bolts. Your boy weighs 180, and combined with the seat, we're at 228. So we're right at 48 pounds just for the one seat. 228. And the passenger side seat, 227.5. That's 153.8 pounds for the seats. Let's go ahead and start popping out all the door plastics, in which are just secured down with some clips. With a little pry, they pop right out. Ugh. Same goes for the A-pillar plastics. They just pop right out, and there's a securing clip that needs to slide out as well. Woo, we're getting there. Then we'll remove the sun visors along with all the handles, in which they're held in with just a few 7mm bolts. Now we can drop down the headliner and remove it from the car. Once we had all the plastics off the dash, all we had to do is remove a few 7mm bolts along with 13mm bolts, and it pops right out. Getting that dash out is a real bear, and that thing actually weighs quite a bit. Aha! We'll have to gut this whole thing and leave just the outer shell, so that way the car doesn't look too terrible. Now let's remove the dash support bar in which it was secured in with a few 13mm bolts. This thing's not too heavy. Followed by the HVAC. Now we can finally remove this damn carpet. Let's go ahead and remove all the sound deadening because race car. And it just pulls right out. What a mess. Now that we have the interior cleared out, let's go ahead and remove the curtain side airbags. And they're secured in with a few bolts and a couple clips. Now let's remove the driver's side and the passenger side seat belts. Don't worry, we've got something for safety going back in. You okay? Whew, that's job. Okay, let's get back at it. All right, we are getting there. We have taken a lot of crap out of the car this far. There are a few things I want to keep and put back in the car just to make it a little more comfortable. And that is the dash. I want to put the dash back in, just some of these plastic pieces to make it look like a dash again. But all the heavy crap that we don't necessarily need has come out of the dash. Aside from, we need to remove these air ducts and this airbag, which is pretty damn heavy. Aside from that, the dash is pretty light. So I'm going to remove the airbag and the air ducts to lighten up the dashboard. So let's go ahead and get after that, and we'll move on to other stuff. Let's go. And just like that, the shell of the dash is back in. I really just put in some of the lightweight plastics back in here so it doesn't look like a total POS. I'm sure we only added maybe 10 or 15 pounds putting all this stuff back in here. But there are some of the things that I do need, such as our door controls are here to lock and unlock, our emergency lights, and who knows, when I do a drag and drive eventually, may want to listen to some tunes. Now let's see if we can magically somehow put all that carpet out there onto this welding table. We have it zeroed out. Wish me luck. One carpet. Woo! There we go. There is the carpet along with all of the carpet liners. And that weighs 22.67 pounds. Let's see if we can't use this laundry basket here to weigh all of our airbags. Along with our seat belts, because why not? That's 35.42 pounds. Nuts. All right, let's weigh all of these plastic pieces. We have to do this in batches. Okay, we've got batch number 1 down. We still have all that to weigh. This first batch weighs 9.82 pounds. We'll just go ahead and move this to the side, shall we? Okay, batch number 2. We still got all this to work with. 11.84 pounds. Off you go! Okay, batch number 3. 14.66 pounds. Get this the hell out of here. Last but not least, got our door cards. And that together weighs 11.44 pounds. We got a few little metal brackets here. We'll toss it onto the pile, which we've got 12.78 pounds with those added brackets. Let's see how much the HVAC weighs. 18.38. We're up to 279 pounds and some change. I just took delivery of a pretty special piece, a little bit of a scratch and dent piece.
What the hell is he doing?
He's shopping.
So I got this at half price and I couldn't pass it up. Look at that. We found ourselves a carbon fiber hood and I have yet to take the bubble wrap off of it. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll take a look at it. I'll show you the blemish. Not too shabby looking. We'll have to toss this thing on a scale and see how much it weighs. And you're probably looking at this wondering where the blemish is at. And it just looks like a little bit of a mold blemish. Carbon fiber sticking up a little bit. We might be able to just sand this down and re-clear this section. But really I got this for weight saving. So let's take off the stock hood, see how heavy it is, and we'll install the carbon fiber piece, shall we? Let's go. It's not light. With me holding it, it's 212. Now let's see how much this carbon fiber hood weighs. 202. Not as much weight savings as I thought. We're down 11 pounds there. Oops. Well, let's go ahead and toss this thing on. 10 pounds is 10 pounds, I suppose. Well, she looks pretty slick. Let's continue removing weight by getting rid of the washer fluid reservoir. It's just held in with a few 13mm bolts. Now let's remove the window wipers along with its motor. We can remove the 15mm bolts that secure the window wipers down. Bend the wipers up a little bit and they'll pop right out. Now we'll remove the weather stripping so we can get access to some more plastic clips that hold the plastics in. The plastics are held in by a few clips and then they come right out. We'll remove the window wiper assembly in which it's held in with a few 13mm nuts. And then it'll come right out. While we're at it, we'll vacuum up all the dirt that's accumulated over the past 13 years. Weight savings. Then we'll toss the plastics in so it doesn't look like crap. And the wiper assembly is worth 8.14 pounds. Now let's remove the rear bumper bar. In order to do that, we have to remove the rear bumper cover. But first, we have to remove the tail lights. To remove the tail lights, it's a couple screws hidden underneath these tabs. And then we just have to pry and pull the tail light out. I really didn't have to remove the tail light here, but I did anyways. In order to remove the rear bumper cover, there's a couple clips that you have to pry in order to pop out without breaking those tabs. Then we just repeat the same process for the passenger tail light, and we'll use a screwdriver to remove the remaining tabs, and the bumper cover comes right off. To remove the rear bumper bar, there's 6 15mm nuts holding it on. Once we remove those, it comes right off. While we're here, we'll go ahead and clean up all the years of dirt that have accumulated. And then we'll toss the rear bumper cover back on, so it doesn't look like a total piece of crap. And the rear bumper bar was worth a total of 14 pounds flat. Now let's go ahead and remove the exhaust. We have an aftermarket exhaust, so there's a handful of bolts you have to remove, and it comes right out. And the full exhaust is worth a savings of 31.54 pounds. Wow. Let's continue weighing things, see how much we've lightened up the car, in which we got something else in just now. Oh yes, we got ourselves an aluminum racing seat. So let's see how much this new seat weighs. I am holding it up on the back because this thing will just roll over, but we're looking at 11.3 pounds. And of course we have some seat brackets right here in this box, along with the seat cover, which is a total weight of 4.72 pounds. We're going to need a way to mount our seat, so I took some measurements of the original seat rail and designed a seat base plate for the seat to mount to, as well as a place for our harness to mount to as well. It's always fun designing something, sending it over to Send Cut Send, and getting the part back. So let's go ahead and weld this together. And just to be fair, This box and all this foam is 3.5 pounds. So we can take that off the weight. So let's go ahead and install this harness bar along with the harness and wrap this up, shall we? Let's go. So how much weight did we end up shedding? The seats alone ended up being 153.8 pounds, which was our biggest savings. The carpet and liners was 22.67 pounds. The airbags and seat belts were 35.42 pounds. All the plastics were 67.48 pounds, and our exterior parts were 64.68. Of course, we did have to add some safety back in, so with the seat, the harness, and harness bar came out to be 36.86 pounds. Giving us a total weight loss of 296.89 pounds, which is good for 0.3 of a second in a quarter mile. Was doing all this work worth it? I think so. Let me know what you think down in the comments. There are a few things that I did leave in the car, such as the driver and passenger side door card, as well as most of the sound deadening. I did remove all of the sound deadening out of the driver's side, which only weighed about 1.5 pounds. If I did my math correct, it would have been 10 pounds for the entire car. So, time versus gain, I didn't think it was worth it. Let me know down in the comments something that you would have removed from this car that I didn't. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and boys and girls, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Peace out.